Hey guys, just a quick update on what's happening with inflation and just some of my thoughts about it. Fortunately, Europe has been pretty warm this winter. I live in UK. The UK hasn't been warm. It's been really cold, but according to the news, like a lot of European countries have been pretty warm, and that really drove the demand down for energy. So that's what Putin was banking on. Basically, he was waiting for like really harsh winter, like really cold, but that didn't happen. So if the demand goes down, the price of the oil will go down as well, and that's what happened. So it's not good news for Putin. It's good news for Europe. Um, and the price of energy has gone down a bit, and then what's gone down is the general inflation prices have gone down, and thanks to the higher interest rates. So I know that a lot of people are suffering. Even in my local newspaper, a lot of the local mom and pop shops, like local restaurants, are closing down because they simply just ran out of money, and there's no way they can borrow money to sustain themselves. The interest rates are just way too high at the moment. And then, of course, when the local shops close down like that, we see other franchise brands come in. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, so this is the price you pay for raising the rates and trying to get a control over the inflation from running on. Just like what happened in Turkey, Argentina, Venezuela, like all these countries, Zimbabwe, they go into hyperinflation, and that's the last thing you want as a country. That just completely destroys everybody's wealth and everybody's assets, and the economy just gets to the point where you can't come back, right? Because your government is not going to be able to pay off its debts if the government borrow money from other countries. It's just bad news. You don't want to go there. And fortunately, like the a lot of the developed Western countries, they figured out how to get a grip of the inflation from running on, and that's by raising the interest rates, right? And that's going to cost some people from closing down their businesses, and it's either that or you just bankrupt as an entire country. Like you can't pay off your treasury bonds, and that's it. Your government just goes down. So, but we can't do this forever. And a lot of the well-known, like famous investors are saying that there's going to be a second wave of inflation. So what's going to happen is all these politicians and monetary policymakers, they will tighten up the policies, meaning like raising the interest rates and just like make everybody suffer a little bit to get control of the inflation. And then the inflation right now in America and UK is all coming down. In the Western countries, it's coming down right now, which is a good sign. But more and more businesses will go bust. A lot of the people's investments are going to go down. Nobody's going to be happy. And even though it's a necessary cost, people have thresholds. And then after a certain point, there will be a lot of pressure on the politicians to basically change their position, because at the end of the day, politicians, what they want is they want to get votes, right? So there's always that cycle with the politicians. They play that game where during the voting elections, they always do whatever is in favor for a lot of people, for the general public. Doesn't matter whether it's an optimal policy making or not. They tend to just loosen up and just like try to make themselves look good so that they can get more votes in the next election. And it's coming, right? And when that time comes, they're going to again. A lot of people are saying, a lot of the experts are saying that the governments are going to lower the interest rates again, and that's just gonna have the inflation run on again. And also, so that's coming. That I think that's a very reasonable argument, and I think that's likely going to happen. So what that means to regular people is that just because the inflation it comes down, and then the government loosens up monetary policy, and you can borrow money, cheap money everywhere, and you can start investing again. I am saying I think that you should just hold off on that, and the last thing you want to do is leverage investing. You don't want to borrow money. Don't get mortgages. Don't do borrow money to invest into stocks or cryptocurrency or anything like that. Just hold off, because inflation might run on again, and then the interest rates will have to be raised again, and it's going to be pretty nasty cycle like that, unless something drastic happens, like I don't know, AI just blows it out of the water, and then just makes everything so productive that we just get out of this. But unless that kind of thing happens, this cycle is going to repeat. So just because you can breathe again a little bit, don't go and just invest like crazy. um, And another interesting factor that we need to watch out for is that China is now allowing people to travel, and there's a record number of just cash in the banks, Chinese banks, saved up during the 3 years of pandemic lockdown controls. So Chinese people just stayed home and they just saved up so much money, and the number of bookings have doubled pre-pandemic, and it's expected to increase. So now the lockdown is not there anymore, and people are allowed to travel again, and they're just going nuts. And all that money flooding into the West because they're going to be traveling, that's going to basically inflate your currency, your local currency, right? Because if Chinese people want to travel to UK, they're going to change to British pounds from Chinese yuan. What does that mean? That means there's going to be a lot of money coming in. It's like the government printing money, but only this time Chinese people are bringing money into our countries. So, again, another round of huge amounts of money being released into the Western economy. So watch out for that. So yeah, just a lot of the government is trying to get a hold of inflation, but we could expect to see Chinese money coming in. So very uncertain. I think we should be very careful. Don't jump on any opportunity to borrow money and try to invest. Stay very conservative. Stick to like cash investing with no leverage, like what I do. So stay safe, and I'll keep you guys updated with all this inflation news.